Welcome everybody to Live from Beyond. This is our stream of the Trail of Cthulhu game, Eternal Lies. My name is Kevin. I'm going to be the GM, and these guys are the players. Go ahead and give it a little introduction.
Hello everybody, my name is Alex, and I'm going to be playing Damon Smoke, who's currently damp and unhappy that we weren't able to sneak onto that boat. Instead, we ended up in the water. Damon's unhappy for many, many reasons.
Many good reasons.
Some bad. Hello, my name is Kim. I'm playing Nicola, who I guess is not as sneaky as he had hoped, and is also somewhat damp, I guess.
Yeah, quite damp.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I will be playing Kitty Kennedy, who you'll be happy to know after surviving the ordeals of Eternal Lies went on to star in quite a number of off-Broadway productions.
Off.
I'm Andrew. I am playing the disgraced government scientist Harvey Cohen, who's getting in a bit over his head with his work.
And I'm Aaron, and I'm playing Fritz Drechner, the antiquarian, who is very glad to be back on Malta, where he spent some of his younger days working as an archaeologist.
All right. Well, so last time we left you guys, you had been investigating Montgomery Donovan and his holdings here in Malta. The last thing that you did, or I guess failed to do, might be more accurate, was to investigate a ship at his at the dock outside his warehouse.
Just to quickly go back, have we officially confirmed that Kitty was at no point in the boat with us?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Damon and Nicola managed to, I guess, climb up the side of the boat, and then hijinks ensued.
Things went south quickly from there.
Yeah. Well, I guess Nicola tried to pose as a member of the crew without any, corroborating
Success.
evidence or
Maltese
Points.
Some Maltese smugglers are smarter than you think.
He tried to fly on charm alone, and it didn't get him very far. And so him and Damon ended up in the water. And so you guys are able to row your rowboat back out into the dark, and then eventually get back to land after being threatened off the boat by the guards and stuff there. What do you guys want to do?
It's middle of the night, right?
Yeah, it's the middle of the night.
I believe we saw somebody watching as we were...
Yes, we did see somebody sitting at the end of the dock watching the whole everything unfold.
Well, it wasn't exactly at the end of the dock. There's sort of a road that goes along the side of the ocean there, just above the rocks and shit. And there you saw an old man sitting there under a street light with a cane, just sort of watching you. That was a ways back, but you could always double back once you get to land. And,
Creeper.
So, when we get back to land, Fritz turns to Damon and Nicola and says, "Well, the two of you are rather wet at the moment, and I wouldn't like for you to catch a chill, so I think it might be best if you went back to the hotel and kept a low profile for a little bit. Harvey, why don't we see whether we can chat with the old man that we saw on the way back?"
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you think it's safe? I wouldn't want to, put our necks out when we didn't need to. He was a bit close to the dock.
I don't think that we would be visible so much so as to provide distinguishing features from several hundred yards away on the ocean at night.
A fair point.
So
And
I suspect that...
Well, so you can tell that from his vantage point, he would have been able to see your little misadventure at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Which would make it a poor idea for two dripping vet people to show up. But
Okay.
there's no reason for him to think that Harvey and I in particular are the two dry idiots in the rowboat full of four idiots.
Fair point. Harvey will be looking around for, are there any cars parked by with open windows? He's looking for an umbrella or something he can grab.
Oh, I
to
thought you
use
were going to
sort of
steal a car. I was like, wow.
No. I like something to walk into, sort of
Escalated
stack like
quickly.
I'm older than I am, Something to simulate a walking cane or walking stick, something like that.
You can,
Okay, then fine.
if you want to blow a point of preparedness, you can have one. Or I mean, find one, whatever.
No, it's fine. Let's keep moving. So yeah. All right. Fritz, fair point. Lead the way. And Kennedy's not here, and these two. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just us.
So I guess, what do you guys think there, Damon and Nicola?
You guys gonna go back to the hotel, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wet. I need to make sure this gun isn't
Right.
entirely ruined.
Right. Okay, fair enough. All right, so you guys stroll down the side of the bay there, or the harbor, I guess, and it's actually a little bit relaxing. The sea air is bracing. It's cool, but not too cool. And as you approach the area with the street light and the bench, the wind carries the smell of spices and tea down from an open window across the street. You can hear someone sort of plucking a guitar idly up in the second floor. But as you approach the bench, you see no sign of the old man.
And the house that has the tea and the guitar, is that just a private residence, or?
Yep, that's right.
Worth asking. Knocking, maybe asking for a phone.
I don't know that we have any reason to need a phone.
Oh, just simply to see who lives there and if the old man maybe lives there.
Isn't it the middle of the night?
All the better reason to need a phone and be in dire need of a call.
If you want, I will certainly back the play.
Okay. Yeah. So Harvey will begin walking up to the door. The lights are on, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So he'll walk up to the door and quickly knock.
Okay.
Knock it down.
An older woman, answers the door. You can see into the house. It's well appointed. She looks old, but maybe not rich, but not terribly poor. She kind of looks at you. It's late, so she looks a little bit tired, but she says, "Oh, hello."
I take my hat off and say, "Begging your pardon, madam. Do you speak English?"
Yes, I do.
My companion and I are a bit lost, sadly. We're new in the city, and we wish to phone our friends and let them know we've gotten lost, but are on our way back. You wouldn't happen to have a phone we could borrow?
Telephone? No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I understand. Perhaps then a glass of water? We've been walking around for most of the day. We're a bit tired.
Yes, of course. Come in.
Oh, thank you very much.
Many thanks, madam.
As she welcomes you in, like I said, her home is reasonably well appointed. She steps away for a moment and comes back with a pitcher of water and 2 glasses, and says, "Strange time to be out."
Yes. I'm sorry. I know it's an odd time to come calling. We simply we've been lost for so long, and we heard the music. We figured those who lived here would be up.
Oh, just me. Afraid the guitar's my only friend these days.
You play very well, madam.
I was asking, is the guitar stopped?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You play very well, madam.
Thank you. Like I said, not much else to keep me company these days. But tell me, what brings you outdoors near the bay?
We have been on the other side of the bay, taking a look at some of the ruins over there. I spent some time as an archaeologist on this island when I was younger, and wished to show my friend around a little bit. Unfortunately, it has been quite a number of years, and my memory is not so good anymore, and so we went rather astray on the way back.
Yes, I see you're quite far. I would be careful this time of night. This is the harbor, after all.
Has it gotten notably more dangerous in the last 30 years?
Well, no, but the ships bring all types.
Yes, we noticed some activity down on the docks tonight. It's a strange time to be loading cargo, no?
She gives you like a yes and no kind of look. She says, it
All right.
happens from time to time. Not so unusual. But, you mean over at the warehouse?
Yes.
Well, it is quite active, especially for a private dock.
Private. Who owns it?
Montgomery Donovan.
When did the government decide to provide private access to shipping like that?
Oh, Malta's always had private docks. As far back as I can remember. I'm not sure, but when the English took over, they didn't decide to change anything as far as I know.
I see. It's interesting. One would think they would be concerned about the loss of excise tax and the like, but I suppose if it works for them.
I don't trouble myself with that much anymore. My
Anymore?
husband died many years ago, and like I said, only the guitar keeps me company now.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
Indeed.
Anyway, we thank you for the water and the respite, and we will be on our way. Miss?
Yes?
He's waiting for the name. Miss,
What?
like
Can't
you would
think of
completely.
I don't know. I haven't listed names. Miss Gagella. Sorry.
Miss Gagella, it's been wonderful to meet you.
Ah,
May you
and
stay in
you.
good health.
The same. The same.
Okay.
Okay.
Jonathan, shall we be going?
Yes, of course. So yeah, we head back towards the hotel, I guess, right?
So you called him Jonathan? Use his
Yes.
false name? Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, you can head back towards the hotel?
I think so. I don't have anything. Unless, Fritz?
I don't think that there's any reason to continue our perambulations here.
Sneak on a boat again.
We've already exhausted that chain.
I'm not sure they ever snuck onto a boat.
That's true. We got onto one boat, a very small one, and then clumsily flailed at a second boat.
Yep. Okay.
I blame Damon.
So it didn't take you guys too long to get back to the hotel. And you guys see Kitty, Nicola, and Damon. They're all, lounging in the lobby. Lounge. So tell me what you guys are doing.
I'd like to share information. Just let them know what little we learned.
Okay.
No, ultimately Harvey would, maybe spend 5 minutes in the lobby, and then he would sort of retreat to his room pretty quickly.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I guess Nicola will inquire as to, or inquire further as to what it's all about, or what the group thinks it's all about.
Yeah, right. Remember, Nicola is sort of new to this. You guys haven't really let him in on a whole lot.
Sorry.
So,
Forgot about that.
Well, Kitty's not really in the mood to let him in about much. She's sort of like sitting there staring off into space with a kind of like a self-satisfied look on.
So I believe Damon mentioned nectar before,
Yeah.
at least in the sense of the fact that it was a dangerous drug and that we thought Montgomery was
Well, Santiago was infected with it, or
right, and that we thought
yeah.
Montgomery was at fault.
Right.
And I think, that's essentially the long and short of the story. We've been charged with investigating the death of our patron's father, and it turned out to be caught up in what seemed at first to be a small local drug conspiracy, but has turned out to be rather more global. And after trying to root out the cabal responsible for production and sale of the drug in Los Angeles and Mexico, we've turned to Malta to attempt to do the same here, and we think that Montgomery is using his private dock to continue to ship in and out the poison without any oversight from the government.
Right.
All right. No reason for Nicola not to believe that. He listens attentively to the whole story and nods along.
Pretty elegant way to tell the tale, Aaron.
Yeah, he left out some things, but
Hey,
maybe,
that's
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
maybe
Well-
the less important parts.
It's
It
my
depends
feeling. Go ahead, Damon.
I was gonna say it depends on how long we sit here in like the whatever by the bar with like a bottle, right? Like, because the longer this goes on, the more like talkative Damon's gonna get, kind of.
Is he going to get talkative enough to down that necklace?
No, no. But let's just say, just like maybe mention like the liar here or there, and mention like Gus, right? Like, because I know Nicola's. But it
Okay.
like
Well,
I said, but
I think Nicola was there when Santiago kind of went on a little bit of a drug-fueled rant. So, but I guess could be explained away as just the ramblings of a drug addict.
A drug-fueled man.
Sure.
Well, and we're only 10, 15 years out from the Great War. There are plenty of people around who have seen
Absolutely.
things that are not supernatural, but that would leave them shells of themselves.
Especially here in Malta, right? You're close to mainland Europe, and
yeah. And this was the hospital of World War One, so there's a lot of patients that were sent here.
So I think Fritz's feeling, at least, is that there's no reason to tell Nicola about the more supernatural aspects because he won't believe them if he's told. And so when he sees them, he can make his decisions for himself the way that the rest of us have. And until then, they'll present all of the necessary details in the way that would make sense to someone who chose not to believe.
Okay. Well, so I'll say this. Nicola, you can decide for yourself whether or not you believe what Fritz said, but you, I think, probably would recognize an opportunity to pump Damon for information if you want to keep him at the bar. So,
Sure,
like,
yeah. I mean, Nicola is the kind of guy who just likes to be in the know as much as possible. So, unless people tend to all retire, he will he'll try to keep the evening going at the hotel bar.
Right. So as the the night. So Damon? What are you drinking?
it doesn't matter. Whatever is like the
Whatever is available. So
Whatever's available.
as Damon drinks, his pace sort of accelerates, and he eventually sort of like loosens his tie and unbuttons the top of his shirt, and you can see a small pendant or something there hanging there filled with yellow liquid.
All right, so Nicola will say, "What a curious necklace."
Dame like reaches up to her and he's like, "This?" I was like, "This is nectar, man. This is the thing that Santiago took. This is a constant reminder of my addiction, the death of my family, that woman with the mouth." And he just kind of like shakes off, like tries to like shakes his memory and like downs whatever is like left in his cup.
So that would be that seems like a curious thing for a drug addict to carry around his drug with him.
It's a constant. It's a constant reminder. It's
But
a
you
constant
don't
reminder to myself.
you don't fear that it would be too easy to relapse?
If that happens, maybe that would be the best way. But there's just some things, some memories that I can't unforget, or sorry, I can't forget. Can't get rid of these memories.
Well, we've all seen some things done some things that we perhaps regret. Nicola will order another glass of wine for Damon.
Are we sitting at a table or something, or on couches, or like?
No,
are
you
we
guys are
literally at
in
a
like a
bar?
lounge. Couches.
We're in like lounge couches. Okay, and we're all sort of there.
Yeah, let me change the background to something slightly more appropriate.
Like as Harvey said, he retired to his room, right? But
Right, okay.
assume
Well,
everybody
Harvey
else
was
was there. Well, I guess Kitty came back from her date.
Yep.
Yeah, Kitty's here, sitting. She was here when you guys came back, like staring off into space, smugly. When you say the thing about like we've all done things we regret, Kitty just sort of like snorts, but when you look at her, she's just still kind of staring off into space.
This picture was intended for something else, but I think it would do.
That's pretty
That is a
perfect.
nice picture. That's kind of what I imagined it like. So
Have to find a new picture for something else.
hopefully we won't get there
Shouldn't have done
today.
such a brilliant job finding the right picture for this seat.
Fuck that other
It happens to be a picture of Kitty Kennedy on the desk over there.
You savant. Oh my
So
God,
Damon-
that is totally Kitty Kennedy.
Damon will like tell the story, like just like a random conversation spark, and he'll tell the story about being attacked by the sanitarium inmate and like pulling a gun on him and so on. It's just kind of like not only drugs but also crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Say, what do you hope to accomplish if you catch Mr. What's his name?
Donovan.
Yeah.
Donovan.
Are you bringing him back to America?
What?
That's a good question.
No, it's not. We just got to stop the operation. I don't really care about him. We got to find out how he's making the drug and how he's making nectar and stop that.
Because I just don't understand why. So you guys aren't like government agents?
Please.
How come? How come you're? How come you're still, or you're pursuing this across so many countries? As you said, you seem to have uncovered your patron's mystery. It seems odd that you would pursue it to this degree.
Kitty like mutters pretty loudly because someone has to.
Have you never had a calling, Nicola?
I mean, there are things I'm good at, I guess.
I don't think it's quite the same. It's one thing to do something you're good at to support yourself, or because it is indulgent, it makes you feel good. It's something else entirely to be called to a task. And I think my colleagues would agree that no one else will take care of this problem if we don't.
And
What are you good at, Nicola?
well, I make a pretty good living down by the harbor, getting things where they need to be going, and I know the area pretty well, and
That's your
certainly
calling?
no. My answer before was that I don't think I have a calling in the same way. I'm not sure. I guess in my line of business, this juice of yours, I guess I haven't seen before. But drugs come and go, and people will do what they want to do to escape. Certainly nowadays, but and it's very noble of you and your group to try to shut down this, but I have to say, I assume some organization will simply take its place. It's a profitable line of work, and there'll always be somebody.
Well, it'd just as well be somebody else. One cannot simply destroy all of the bugs in the world, but it doesn't mean that you should live with them in your house.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Guys, that was deep. We should probably just end for the night.
That was like that was like the end of Blade Runner. Oh my god, chills, just chills. Tears in the rain.
Tears in the rain.
So, what do you want to do tomorrow?
That's a good question. We can't exactly sneak our way back to the dock, the private dock, or the warehouse over there, but getting in would certainly be useful. Other than that, we can try to get some kind of face-to-face with Montgomery Donovan. Or we can try to follow up on the nectar itself. Clearly it has managed to infiltrate the public houses here.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So we know the locations of Donovan's yacht. Was that the boat that they were loading, or was that a
Not
different?
the boat that you were loading, and that was actually that was in a different place. So his warehouse is in the harbor, or on the.
That's what I was just double checking.
So they're actually
Okay, yeah.
both in the harbor, but the harbor's pretty big, and they're on opposite sides of the harbor.
I say, like, there's Donovan's yacht, Nicola, the one that you and I found at the. Nicola, the yacht that you and I found out about. There's also. Could also follow up on that.
I think you have another address as well.
I'm just wondering what you're trying to accomplish. Are you here to kill this man?
Only
find
if
out.
it is absolutely necessary. I think that Damon put it relatively well. We are here to investigate whether production of the drug is going on here, and if so, to shut down that production. I have no compunctions about doing so without shedding any blood, but I also have no compunctions about doing what needs to be done in that service. And
Aaron, I don't know if you're withholding from Nicola, but we know that it's being produced at Malta at a very fast rate.
yes, but we don't have any good way of explaining that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I was just making sure that you, as a player,
Yes. Yeah, I as a player know that we know that at least whenever the Testament of Trammel was written, they were producing a lot of nectar here.
Right.
That's what our current knowledge is. So, presumably, we as a group have some idea that there is a terrifying tentacle pit somewhere in Malta, and the question is now, like, where is it, and how do we get our hands on 40 tons of dynamite?
Yep.
I like the way you think.
Fair enough.
So, I guess Nicola will say, if I was going to guess, if you're so sure that Mr. Donovan is the one producing this drug that you're trying to get off the market, his warehouse might be the logical place to check.
Would the warehouse fit the... I don't know if you've ever seen inside the warehouse, Nicola, but would it fit the description of, like, a big open area with access to the ground?
That's a building.
Well,
Say,
so actually, I think Damon
What a question.
Damon is on the right track. It's just slightly more. We can be more specific than that. So I'll say, Nicola, you have a better lay of the land perhaps than I do, or maybe between the two of us we can put our heads together on this. In the previous two locations, the situation required for production of the drug has led to subterranean contexts being the best, in the same way that one would expect for mushrooms, say, right? You don't simply grow them out in the sun, they are best grown in caves. But it does require a large amount of space. Are there any such spaces that would be appropriate on Malta that you know especially in this area.
Well, I guess, Kevin, do I know? Do I have any ideas? I don't.
Got any skills that might be relevant here?
Yeah.
That
Archaeology.
pertain to Maltese geography.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm not sure I have Maltese geography. No.
Well, do you have regular geography or archaeology or?
I wish actually there was a geography skill because there isn't.
There is geology.
I have.
What do you have?
As far as academic abilities, I have archaeology. I have art history.
Yeah.
And I have languages.
All right. So you know that Valletta is a city built on top of a city built on top of a city. The ruins on Malta are some of the oldest in the entire world, let alone Europe. So there are tunnels and catacombs and tunnels built on top. Catacombs built on top around the city and all around the island, really. So any given spot could have something underneath it. You're not sure.
So could I use an archaeology point to maybe be somewhat familiar with some of these undercity tunnels?
I mean, yeah, sure. You don't. Sure. I mean, what do you want exactly? I don't want to jip you out of a point if you.
So I guess Nicola is supposed to be involved with like smuggling goods and stuff like that. So it stands to reason maybe that they might use some of these underground or old ruined tunnels to store or transport goods when trying to kind of bring it through Malta or off of Malta. And maybe being familiar with them, he would know some area that might fit what Damon is talking about, or I guess what Fritz is talking about, a large open layer that would be fit for mushroom farming.
Yeah. So you don't need to point. You don't know anything specifically underneath that warehouse, but you do know that down near the harbor there are definitely sections of old sewers and catacombs that you occasionally use to transport goods that would be better left out of the sunlight.
All right. So I guess I'll say, well, sometimes the city's built on top of a lot of old ruins, tunnels. I'm not familiar with all of them, but there might be spaces down there where I'll like look at Fritz and say you could grow mushrooms, I guess.
That's actually an important thought. Perhaps some of these subterranean tunnels could also be used to access the space underneath the warehouse without having to come at it from the surface.
You might be right. I'm only familiar with a small fraction of the tunnels, and I'm not sure I've explored the area underneath the warehouse. But I could take you down there tomorrow if you would like to go, and we can at least check it out. There's no guarantee. A lot of these tunnels are old. Some of them are ruinous and impassable, but doesn't hurt to check.
It seems as good a lead as any, unless we want to try to talk to Montgomery, but I worry that if we do that, we will tip him off more thoroughly than we managed to tonight.
Kevin, you also said that we have another address, but I don't have it written down.
Oh, I believe you have the address of a townhouse registered to Montgomery Donovan, which Harvey and Fritz, I believe, were nearby, if not having visited. Nicola, you know of a hotel down near not a hotel, a hospital down near the docks that's quite old, and if memory serves, there is an entrance to some underground tunnels in the back of that hotel. The trouble has always been that the staff is not necessarily in on smuggling activities, so you had to use it sparingly and with some difficulty.
Sure. Yeah.
Also,
So
once down there, the catacombs are not like a highway, so it's not really easy to navigate in any particular direction. But more useful as like a place to hide and.
Yeah. Well, so I'll let everybody know that if we were going to go and attempt this, we would need to bring the appropriate equipment.
Kitty's,
Compass, map.
Kitty's also gonna like shake herself out of her reverie and say to the folks like, if it's this Donovan we still want, I think I might know a way. The young man that I met earlier or last night, I'm not sure which.
Earlier.
I'm so drunk that I don't
days are
recall.
Did anybody
These
tell
are all
Kitty
merging
about
together.
Santiago?
No, not yet.
Well, I was about to ask about him, but it's both in and out of character. But yeah, the young man, I think he's mixed up in this, and he might be our way to Donovan.
Which young man?
That's a great question. I spent so long walking around having the libations that I can't quite recall his name.
Do you know where he stays?
Michael Anders.
Oh yeah,
Michael Anders.
Michael Anderson.
Yes, Mr. Michael Anders.
How could you forget that name, Kitty?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I apologize. deeply. Yeah, Mr. Michael Anders would be our way to that. And by the way, where is dear Mr. Alcatruz?
Yes, Miss Kennedy. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. Then I suggested that you and Mr. Alcatruz go down to the cafes. It was not my intent that you should leave him by himself so that he might get drunk and start shouting our business across the entire island. If you find that you can no longer control him, I suggest that we get rid of him.
Why, Mr. Dreckner, the implication that I control Mr. Alcatruz is simply beyond me. But I just couldn't deal with him at that moment. I was so wrapped up in my own thoughts, and all he wanted to do was moan and cry, and I needed him to have his own way and my own.
Well, why do you think he came with us to this island?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I think that after what happened, he's so lost. I don't think he would know where else to go, but to keep following us on our quest.
I think you overrate his devotion to the quest and misunderstand his devotion to you personally.
Well, Mr. Dreckner, I dare say the man has some devotion to me and I to him, but that's my point. I don't think he's devoted to the quest at all. I just think there was nowhere else for him to turn but to me and the rest of you as well after what occurred.
Well,
We're gonna have another problem with him when he wakes up too.
I hate
What'd you
to
say?
be harsh about this, but we are not operating a psychiatric hospital for the walking wounded here. We have a mission, and we are going to try to keep it. So, if you feel that you are no longer interested in continuing your relationship with Mr. Alcatruz, I suggest that we ask Mr. Kearns to fly him to a town in Italy and to leave him there, preferably with a psychiatric order, but otherwise with at least enough money in his pocket to support him temporarily. Either way, he is at present endangering not only our mission, but ourselves.
I do understand, Mr. Dreckner. I think that perhaps, as you say, turning to Miss Winston Rogers and Mr. Kearns for help, but you mentioned that it seemed he was telling our business. What's to stop him from doing so if we send him out of our sight and our control, as you call it?
Quite frankly, if he tells the entire population of a small town on the Italian coast about what we're doing, I couldn't care less. And in all likelihood, it will simply result in his being locked up or driven out of town as a lunatic.
You know, if your friend wants to go home, you could just simply put him on a boat. Back to the
Why, I
Americas.
suppose that's the question, ain't it? Does Mr. Alcatraz want to leave?
And what I'm suggesting is that I don't care. If he is
Maybe.
unable to control himself, and if you are unable to control him, then we will remove him from the island and from the equation.
Mr. Dreckner, by that logic, Mr. Smoke shouldn't be here because we can hardly control him after all the escapades we've had with him. I don't much like your implication. I think that Mr. Alcatraz is an adult and that this could be up to him.
But you see, Mr. Smoke is currently sober. Well, he looks at this
not
glass.
Currently.
He looks at the glass. Well, he's like, at least with nectar he is.
I understand.
I
don't believe that.
Is not.
While I understand and appreciate your opinion, Miss Kennedy, Damon has done more to help us on our quest than almost any of the rest of us. And although he is occasionally given to drink, he is certainly dependable.
What if
Mr. Alcatraz has done nothing. We
What if we let
essentially
Alcatraz-
kidnapped him.
I mean, he's been a great literary device.
Yes. And now, like all great literary devices, entering the third act, it is time for him to leave the stage.
What if we just let him loose, right? He's gonna try to go to the same place where he was last time to get more nectar. We've been trying to figure out where that was. Let's let him go, see where he goes.
So
That's
out
fucking
of,
interesting.
out of character, out of character for a moment, we were told last time that like we could follow up on who gave Santiago the nectar, and it wouldn't really lead us anywhere. It's a dead end.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
So
Anyway,
There was too much layering of like
yeah.
drug dealing integration.
Yeah.
back in character, my concern is that whatever information we might gain from him as bait would be outweighed by the amount of disruption and the removal of any ability to remain discreet that we gain as a result of him wandering around the island.
I say, my dear Mr. Dreckner, I don't wish to keep arguing the point here. I think perhaps what is important is that you might be underestimating the strength which Mr. Alcatraz has inside. If, as you say, he's more devoted to me than to the quest, then I could simply drive him in the right direction and use that devotion. Is there not something, anything, that we could have him do on behalf of us or Miss Winston Rogers that would be more productive than abandoning and sequestering him on some Italy coast village with the crazy people? Can't we put him to work for us and send him away where he could do no harm here but some good elsewhere?
Miss Kennedy, if I may remind you, the first thing that I asked before suggesting sending him away at all was whether you had the ability and the interest in controlling him. You made it clear that you did not, and now you are suggesting that, rather than deal with the problem, we simply allow you to control him. I have no problem with you doing so, but I do have a problem with is you agreeing to do so and then going off on a date with some man whose name you can hardly remember within 2 hours.
He had a very memorable name.
especially the well-known Michaelander.
All right, so yeah, let's let's wrap this up. I mean, what do you guys want to do?
I mean,
Nicola,
we don't have
you don't
we
have
don't
to
have
make
to
a
keep going
decision.
back and forth. My
Okay.
my last recommendation stands without going more into what Aaron just brought up again about, the evolution of our conversation, or like my last point stands.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so I guess you guys will leave it there for the night. You all head to bed. What do you guys? You guys are all just going straight to sleep. You else want to do anything?
Do we need somebody to take care of Alcatraz? Is Kitty gonna take care of him?
Now, when you say take care of,
I don't think I actually got an answer to my question of like where he is.
So did you guys all get separate rooms, or is anybody sharing a room, or what?
I believe that Harvey and I are rooming.
Okay.
I imagine Nicola goes back to wherever he normally stays.
Sure. Okay. So then we'll say, I guess Kitty and Santiago are rooming together, and Damon's got his own room.
Wow, that's pretty bold for 1934.
Normally,
all right, then Damon and Santiago.
Normally,
that's
Damon would be
honest.
rooming with Gus, but you know.
It's true. Well, so okay, that's fine. That's actually perfect.
Gus won't need a room for thousands and thousands of years,
Wow.
and then he won't need one anymore.
His accommodations are well taken care of for eternity.
Right, so it's actually
been a
perfect, Kevin,
comfort,
because
yeah.
as we're heading to bed, I pull like Kitty off to the side, and I just say, "Listen, Kitty, I don't think I can take care of Santiago. It's
So he's just back in your room? Is that all that's going on?
yeah."
Passed
Okay,
out,
yeah,
I
go on.
guess.
Go on.
I say I don't think I can handle. You know, I don't know if how well you remember or not, but I used to be addicted to a certain substance called nectar.
Oh, I remember, Mr. Smoke.
Okay,
I
well,
remember having to smack you away from me with your grabby hands.
I don't remember that, but that's fine. So I think I can't be around Santiago when he's smelling like that. It might bring back some terrible
Yeah, too
terrible
much
memories.
temptation.
Very well, Mr. Smoke. I suppose that, as Dr. Dreckner suggests, I must take control of the situation.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go sleep in the foyer or something.
I mean, you could just have my room.
That's fine too. I wasn't gonna ask you to give me your room though. I said, all right, that's
fair
fine. And
All right, so Kitty, you head into Damon's room, I guess, and Santiago is just passed out asleep on top of his bed there.
All right.
Fritz, you hear a little something strange as you approach your door.
Can you describe it?
Yeah, it almost sounds like glass clattering together, maybe falling from a short distance.
I tap at the door and say, Harvey?
Yes, come in.
Turn the door and come in.
So you see Harvey's side of the room is a bit different. All of his lab equipment and the beakers that he had brought from Mexico City, they've all been swept to the side into a shallow bin. On the table now are a series of books that we've collected in our travels. On the floor on his side of the room, in what looks to be either charcoal or maybe a bit of old wood from a fireplace, he's drawn a large circle with a triangle, an upside down triangle in it, almost resembling a mountain with a mouth in it. And on the wall, he has scribbled, or rather, around the edge of the circle and the wall, he has scribed, for the name of the maw is maw, and the name of the maw is its wisdom, and the name of the maw is its void, and the name of the maw of its gulf, which swallows, and the name of the maw is that which destroys.
Well put.
Are you quite okay?
No, I think the answer to that is a resounding no.
I'm fine. How do you feel?
A little bit unsettled. When did you take up graffiti?
Oh, no, you see, I was just getting nowhere with my previous line of inquiry, so I've decided to take a new tact. I am a scientist, after all.
Could you describe it in scientific terms?
Not quite. Not at the moment. But I do believe I'm close to something, Fritz.
How about insane person terms? Try describing it in those terms.
Well, nothing I've tried has gleaned any bit of information whatsoever, and to learn anything that will help us in our travels, I've decided to employ the methods our adversaries are using.
I see. And you didn't think it might be good to consult with the rest of us before descending into devil worship?
Devil? What? No, I never consulted you about my research before. What do you...
Yes. Previously you were simply, using beakers
Simply?
and test tubes.
Simply?
The way that any scientist might use beakers and test tubes. Now you are trying to recreate the kind of things that led us into a pyramid that traveled in time and space to meet a gigantic being that devoured Gus Allen.
That did happen.
More or less.
Yeah, that
Good description.
That did happen. But
Go on.
It might not happen again.
I believe that I shall sleep on the couch, but I hope
Is the couch
that I will see
far
you
away enough?
Well, I hope so too.
Fritz backs out of the room
right.
and goes to find Damon Smoke.
All right. Damon
So-
Smoke. I guess you
He
could
doesn't,
look
he
in
doesn't know
Damon's
that I'm
room.
in...
Get your
Yeah, you're
gun.
gonna have to look in Damon's room where Damon Smoke is not.
All right.
Yeah,
so
all right,
you walk over to Damon's room, and what do you do?
I know that Santiago is supposed to be already asleep in there, so I'm not going to knock on the door. I'm just going to
Fling it
whisper,
wide open.
Damon! Mr. Smoke!
Kidney answers the door with, like a shawl like wrapped around her shoulders. You can see that she was like halfway getting ready for bed.
Miss Kennedy, excuse me. Is this not Damon's room?
She says, yes, but Mr. Smoke thought that he wouldn't be able to handle the nectar. As I pointed out, he's not quite the most sober man around, and he asked not to sleep in this room this evening.
I understand. Is he in your room then?
I believe so, but he mentioned something about the foyer. Perhaps he's gone back for another drink or something else before retiring for the evening.
Well, I thank you for the information, and I suggest that you not disturb Harvey tonight. He is deep in work, and disruption could be disastrous.
Dr. Cohen, well, I never dreamed of it, but I appreciate the suggestion, Dr. Drake.
You're most welcome.
Don't tell me what to do.
Adam.
Right. Okay, so you want to go see Damon?
Yes.
Okay. Let's. Yeah. All right. So you go over to Kitty's room and you knock on the door. Damon.
And Kitty Kennedy's in there.
Yeah, Damon was just like sitting on the bed, not sleeping. So he looked just like 2 seconds after you knock, he like walks over and opens the door.
Mr. Smoke. They seem to have an issue. I returned to the room that I'm sharing with Harvey, and he has, how did he put it, decided to employ the methods of our adversaries to try to give us more information. And so far what I can tell is that he's drawn diagrams and terrifying statements all over our walls, and is no longer working with the tools of science, but it is working exclusively from the devilish books that we've found.
Fritz, I'm a little drunk, so I'm just gonna ask you: is he trying to summon the liar?
I can't say that he's not trying to summon a liar.
Not the answer I was looking for.
God damn it! Did you tell him to stop?
Harvey, stop summoning the liar. He's
Not
summoning the liar again.
good. Although now that you say it, I probably should have said that. I didn't want to get into a direct conflict with him while he was, So, I thought it would be best to come and ask your opinion on the matter.
All right, Damon like feels around and like grabs his jacket, his like wet jacket that was like drying there, and like pulls out his gun. He's like, I'm not using it. It's just in case. I haven't cleaned
Alright.
anything. We'll see if it works after being. we'll leave it as a chance.
Sure, yeah.
When Damon needs it in the future to see if the gun works.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I like put it in my like back of my pants, and I walk over and like carefully like open the door to Fritz's. Well, I assume Fritz was with me, but like Fritz's and Harvey's room. I like kind of like peek in. Is Harvey still going at it strong?
He's not going at it strong. He sort of stopped scribbling on the wall, and he's now like flipping through books, and you can see him kind of scribbling in a notepad. Like he traces with his left finger and scribbles with his right finger.
You see?
He
This is
doesn't
what I
seem
was
to be
talking about.
to notice you.
Like a creature with two left hands.
Exactly.
Everything is fine.
Hey, Harvey.
Yes.
I'm not a book scientist. I'm not as bookish as you guys.
Any kind of scientist.
I don't know. I mean, there must be book scientists.
Don't let
But
that
anyway.
get you down, Damon. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunity in this world for you.
Librarians?
Yeah. I just don't think that this is the way to go, man.
Why not?
What's the end game here? Is it to... And I like look behind my shoulder, like behind Fritz to the empty like room to make sure. I'm like, is it to summon the liar? Right? Do we want the tongues? Do we want the nectar? What are you doing?
He sort of turns his back to you and walks over to the bin that he's now moved into the corner and picks it up. You can see it's full of notebooks and beakers and test tubes and old metal stands and Bunsen burners, and he kind of like shoves it towards you. Would you like to look through my research and see what it's got me so far?
Is it like a garbage bin? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
like an empty garbage bin. It's only got my gear in it, nothing else.
I said, listen, I'm not sure I'll be able to understand all your research, so I think it's kind of pointless for me to look at it, but...
Then
I'm
that
just
is one
looking-
thing you and I have in common, because so far my research has proved to be absolutely fucking pointless. I can't allow this to best me, Damon.
I can't say I understand your pain, but maybe, we know nectar's produced here, right, Harvey? We know it's in Malta. It said so in the whatever that journal was, right? So
Of course, and I intend to track it down, but in the meantime, what I do with my studies is my own business, no?
I completely agree, except when it takes other people's safety.
Safety. Do you know how many volatile chemicals I've been mixing in the desk next to Mr. Dreckner's bed? One slip, and the entire room could have been filled with hydrogen chloride gas.
Oh,
Now,
God.
talk about safety and
Don't know what
protocols.
that is
To
either.
me, Mr. Damon Smoke, it is not necessary. I assure you, I have most of what I am doing well in hand.
Fritz turns a bright shade of chartreuse.
No, I'm just saying that your chemistry and your biology, and then I look at the
Don't do it.
I was like, but what about
Science book?
what? No, I wasn't gonna bring that up. I know your chemistry and biology, but I think your occult studies just aren't as well up there.
I suppose somewhere in there you've made a point.
Oof. Brutal.
Very well. Perhaps I'll sleep on it, and then see where I'm at in the morning. And he'll sort of put his pencil down, shut some of the books he was working on, and back away.
Damon, like behind Harvey's back, like erases one of the words, like off.
So yeah, so you turn to erase some charcoal off the wall, and you just see the word well, I don't know if it's a word, but the word Ugolanak, just like written with like a circle of that word written around it, and then like a star inside that circle written in that like word.
I say, Harvey, what is this? And I like underline it.
Eureka!
No, Ugolanak.
God.
Well
All
done.
right, let's call it, boys. Let's get out of here.
And this has been Eternal Lies.
I
the
didn't
campaign.
even recall writing that word. What is it? Ugolanak. I'll begin flipping through the pages. I don't believe you've ever heard that name before.
I've heard it.
No, we've heard it.
I hear it
we
every
have?
time I close my eyes to go to sleep. I hear it.
Wait,
I have no
out of
idea what
character.
it
Have we heard it?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
it was
exactly
the
the way
thing
that Dan
happened
talked
at the end of our cliffhanger, or well, not our cliffhanger, but like at the end of the Yucatan.
Oh, that was the name. That was the name given in the pillar in the pyramid.
I don't think he actually tells us. I think it's just
No,
But we
like,
just know.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Then okay. I always get like which name we got where and which one is the real one for now. And okay, Ugolanak. Okay, never mind. So I'm not as surprised, but
Well, you might be surprised. I mean, I don't know if anybody's actually said it really. I remember like somebody had
that's
a
sort of
dream
what I'm
about it.
wondering. Like where
Yeah.
like
I don't
is it
think
all
you
out in
guys-
the open that we're talking about?
Oh yeah, I
it
remember.
got
Old
discussed, didn't it?
Ugolanak. I don't think so. I think you had a dream about it. I don't think it ever got talked about.
That's what I mean. Like if we all talked about what the name of the liar is, I think we would all said like Golgoroth.
I remember
or
us talking about it
Groxamal.
last week in the recap of Mexico City, being like, and then we all knew this thing. I guess maybe we didn't say like, "Hey, we said it," but
Yeah, no, I don't think you guys have discussed it. So I think it can be a eureka moment.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Eureka, retcon. Everyone look excited. Look surprised.
I'm not there.
Fair enough.
I was like,
We
how are
will
you
not
reading?
explain this to you later.
Yeah, exactly. You
I say this
not
is
look
So
surprised.
you guys are up late, eh?
this is in my dreams, Harvey. I've heard this 100 times over since. Yes.
I must be honest. I've never heard it before in my life, but
What?
it somehow made its way into my scrawlings.
Did you find it in a book? Did you?
I don't believe so. I'm like flipping through pages on the desk. I don't believe
And-
so.
And like, what does it say? Like, what is it? What is the actual writing? I like take a step back to actually read what.
So every like so often amidst the scrawling of like the name of the mouth is the name of the wisdom and the blah blah blah. There's parts like the name Golgoroth is a shortcut by which the mouth, or the name and Yox whatever it is, Eureka. What is it?
Ugolanak.
Ugolanak?
Ugolanak, yeah. The name Ugolanak is a shortcut by which the mouth of the maw, that.
Yep.
There it is.
Is this part of what Golgoroth wanted us to find, or not Golgoroth?
Yeah, go
Oh, it is Golgoroth. Yeah, Golgoroth. I say, is this? I like circle it. I'm like, maybe if we discreetly ask around for it.
I
Amongst
don't believe I can emphasize enough how bad an idea that would be.
I don't mean yell it through the streets. I mean, you guys have some contacts, don't you, that you can inquire about this?
I don't believe that anybody has a contact of which they can inquire politely about Ugolanak.
It's not really a polite conversation.
you just like,
You don't have an
like
old,
go
you don't have
into
an
a
old
bar.
dog guy?
You go into a bar and you just like sit down next to a guy and you're like, "Hey, buddy, Ugolanak."
What do you know about him?
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, yeah. You hear about that Ugolanak? Am I right?
Yeah, Golanak. What's his deal? What do you guys know about him? Right.
Seriously, I need to know.
So, all right. Well, I like look at my watch. I'm like, it's pretty late. Harvey, just keep in mind when we find this this production of nectar wherever it is. Well, sorry, was Harvey was with us in
Yep. Mexico City?
right? Yeah, you saw all the
Shit. I saw
Yeah.
everything.
He's seen it all.
He's seen
Yeah.
some shit.
So I was like, you'll find it there again. Maybe this time we can do a little less running and a little more investigating.
You say that now, but
Oh yeah,
Always
definitely.
running.
It's easier to do it now while we're standing in like a hotel bedroom as opposed to facing like
Yeah.
tons
The
of
mouth.
mounts. Yeah.
When the mouths come, it's all running.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So let's call that the night, and let's take a quick fiver and and get back to it. All right. Cool. All right. Welcome back. So the night passes peacefully. You all wake the next morning. Kitty, you awaken to hear vomiting coming from the bathroom in your suite. And you can, you walk into the bathroom to find Santiago, white as a sheet, just like kind of sprawled out on the floor. And he kind of looks up at you, says, and he tries to like close the door. He's like, I don't want you to see me like this.
I say it's too late, darling. I've already seen, and there's nothing for it but for me to help you. And Kitty, pushes past his incredibly weakened, feeble attempt to close the door, and wets a washcloth or something and puts it on his forehead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. You can kind of take care of him a little bit.
Yeah. It's a little tough kicking the guy while he's down, but once he's kind of like
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can get him
just
to like
slightly. Yeah. Like he's like sitting up on
yeah. He's sitting up against the toilet. Yeah.
Sure. There you go.
Break up with him as soon as he's.
we have to talk.
Just end it now. End it now, Kitty.
I say, my dearest Senor Alcatruz, let's get married tomorrow. No, I don't. Say that.
Oh, okay.
I don't say that. I was just messing
Say,
with all my,
this is
all
not
my
good
fellas.
word.
I was messing with all my fellas. I say, my dearest Senor Alcatruz, I can't deny what happened. Your behavior last night was apparently quite deplorable and dangerous to our mission. And I'm not sure there's any choice but to let you go off and deal with your grief in your own way. I happen to know that Miss Winston Rogers could really use your help. I don't want you going back to Mexico City, not the way you are. But Mr. Kearns, he could fly you somewhere where you could do some work for them, and then once this is all over, if it's ever all over, I could rejoin you, and we could decide what to do then.
He says, he kind of gives a weak cough, and looks up at you, like steel in his eyes. He says, listen, Kitty, I don't know much about this world anymore. Everything seems confused and dark, filled with shadows and mysteries. But the one thing I do know is that I have to protect you no matter what. And I can't protect you from Janet and Winston Rogers' plane somewhere over the ocean or in some distant land. I have to be here next to you.
Kitty gets like a bit of a tear in her eye. And
There's like
she
a
says,
bit.
He's playing you for a sap, Kitty.
I
listen,
just want that sweet liar treasure.
He just knows Damon has the nectar.
after my nectar.
He's in it for
He
the
wants
nectar,
the
yeah.
gold. He wants the gold.
Yes, he does.
I say, Mr. Alcatruz, that was beautiful, but I tell you what, after what happened to Mr. Allen, I couldn't bear anyone else I'm close to, anyone else that I actually care about, going away, which is why I will gladly continue my troop with Mr. Smoke. But I couldn't bear it if something were to happen to you. I need you to go and be my strength somewhere else, so that when I'm able to return, you're not broken and beaten or worse by what might happen to us, that you'll be there to protect me for everything afterwards.
He says,
Comrade.
Come. you silver-tongued devil, you.
He just wants to be
says,
part of the collective.
right. He says, well, if you won't have me by my side, then tell me where you're going next. I'll travel there first. I'll take a look around.
Have you heard of the 39th 7th Circle of Hell? Or something. I don't know. Where are we going next?
Call him like Galway or something. Fuck
It's
him.
either
Galway.
Always.
Galway's beautiful this time of year.
it's either Ethiopia or Bangkok.
No, why would you tell him that?
Oh, I'm
don't tell him
totally
the
going
truth.
to tell him.
Galway.
Fucking St.
Galway.
Siberia. Northern Mongolia.
Galway.
I say, Galway. You guys. I say, Mr. Alcatraz, nothing could be more helpful than if you were to scout out Bangkok for us. And I can tell you that should we change our mind and go to Ethiopia, Mr. Kearns could reroute you there in a surprisingly short amount of time, considering the air travel capabilities of this era.
How close they are together.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Be sure to ask around for us. Really dig in there. Do some research.
We're not there in 3 years. Send me a
I
letter.
say, Santiago, there's nothing more
the
helpful
Maltese
that
Post.
you could do than to find out what's going on in Bangkok for us, so that when we arrive, things are a little bit safer.
He says,
See, this
Kitty.
guy's devoted to the cause.
you are a flower in the darkest desert. And if I should have to venture out into the night, just know that the only thing that sustains me is the thought that I'll once again see you.
And nectar.
And he
Wow.
tries to stand
Not
up
only-
and like slips back onto the toilet.
Not only is this beautiful, but he's saying the whole thing in like flowing Spanish, which just makes it
Yeah.
all the more,
Yeah,
all
that's
the
right.
more like, romantic. Kitty immediately bends down, brushes a tear away, and gives him a kiss.
Okay. He says, you'll stay mine?
Oh.
How exactly do you define?
I think this could all have been handled better with a Dear John letter.
Kitty says, he says,
Been less cruel too.
as long as we're on the same plane together, I will be faithful to my feelings for you.
He nods. That was
Is that his
it's got the
like?
mood of him on there. Yeah, no, he nods. He seems to buy it. Well, he sort of seems to buy it. I'll let you
I
use
use
a
like
point of
8
reassurance
points
if you want.
of flattery.
Use a point of reassurance to actually make him buy it.
Oh yeah, reassurance. That's the one. Yeah, I'll use as much reassurance as.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need.
If you want to spend 1 point, that's fine.
Oh, I would love to spend a point of reassurance.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, yeah, he totally buys it.
After as much equivocating as I could come up with in my years of acting training. Yeah, good. He buys it, and I spent so much reassurance that I basically buy it too. I fooled myself.
All right, fair enough. Okay, I mean,
Kitty,
yeah.
Whatever. Like, I guess I get up and leave. I don't know.
All right,
I go to tell
later.
Frank Kearns, like, get this guy a banana bag, and then like on the plane.
This-
Got somewhere to go.
out of here. Right. Okay, sure. All right. So, yeah, he'll make arrangements to leave and stuff. What are you guys doing?
I believe we're getting ready to go spelunking, as it were.
Alright, yeah, I guess Nicola will be waiting for everybody in the hotel lobby when you finally make your way downstairs. I don't know, I guess maybe Nicola can have already acquired a few items that might be needed. Some ropes, a compass, various other gear that might be needed down in the tunnels.
Okay. Yeah, sure, no problem. What do you? Yeah, go ahead.
So everybody's there.
Yeah, everybody comes down. I mean, Santiago doesn't, but that's all right.
Yeah. So right, Nicola will have some basic gear with him. Lets everybody know that the old hospital is the easiest entrance.
It's still a current hospital. Just in case there's any confusion.
All right. The hospital is the easiest entrance, but yeah, that was my point.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just so anyone who's thinking it was like used to be a hospital. It is a hospital. It is old. Okay.
Yes. The old hospital, still functioning, is our easiest entrance. But the personnel might not be so favorable of what we're about to do. So my recommendation is that we try to get by them without them noticing. It will. It might prove easier for us.
Not to take the wind out of your sails, but Stealth hasn't been our friend so far. And that was when the two stealthiest members of our group were attempting it.
I say, well, perhaps if this time Damon would refrain from trying to use my leg as a rope, I would appreciate it.
Very well. I just think that perhaps this will lead to an unfavorable conclusion. But it's your show, my friend.
All right. Yeah.
Kevin, I'm also gonna keep an eye out on Harvey. I'm Damon's concerned for his well-being. So.
Yeah. You notice that Harvey's he's like a little twitchy. You know.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, he's like he doesn't like do that as much, but like every once in a while, it seems like he's like thought of something, or he realizes something that he was thinking about is actually wrong. Well, like very subtly, but like if you're watching him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So Nicola will kind of walk everybody to the hospital.
Okay.
Is there some way that Nicola knows is the best way in that might avoid human interaction as much as possible?
No, in fact, you don't know if there is a way, like a back way in at all. You used to work with a guy who had a connection that would some of the staff would let you in, but you haven't seen him for a couple months.
So how do you tend to get in? Like, what is it, like through the basement of the hospital or something like that?
No, it's through the front door, but like you used to know somebody who would give the proper, like, say like, oh, these guys are with me or whatever, or like say like you used to have an inside connection.
But like, where do you go in the hospital to get into the tunnels?
Oh, to get into the tunnels, there's an old wing in the back, through the patient, the area where the sickest patients are treated, and there's like a set of stairs that go down to like a sub basement that has like an opening that leads into some catacombs.
Is there a way to get in the back?
No.
Can't like hop a fence or something like that?
No, well, the only entrance to the building that you know of that isn't locked is the front door.
All right. Well,
Does anybody know how to pick locks?
yes. So yeah, I mean, if there is a back entrance, I think that would still be our best bet, even if it means picking a lock. I did take a bunch of points in lock picking, so put that to good use.
If we're worried about being seen, usually picking a lock is more effective than simply walking in front of people.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely try to pick locks. You're also not sure, like, since it's an old hospital and like it wasn't originally a hospital, there may be doors that are just like permanently barred or sealed, as well as ones that are locked and not used or whatnot. You haven't like done like a survey of the hospital or anything like that, so you don't know exactly. You've only been here a few times.
All right. Well, let's try to see if we can't find a way to get in through the back of the hospital where this entrance or this stairway is. If it means picking a lock and jumping through a window, I'd rather do that than try to wander through the front.
Okay. All right, sure. So you're gonna like approach the side of the building, all 5 of you, or what's the plan here?
I'll like tell them to hang back by like half a block or something like that while I go scope it out.
Okay, yeah. So the buildings around here are pretty old. Most of them look like they're at least 100, maybe more years old. They're mostly constructed of stone. This is sort of like the old area of the harbor. And you're able to sort of squeeze down between 2 buildings that were built like a little too close together. You would assume that when they were built, somebody was trying to build the building right up next to another one. So there's only like about a foot of space between them. But you managed to sort of squeeze in there, and you find a door that looks like it's locked. So you can, if you want, you can try to.
Okay, so I guess it's just locksmith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I just spend a point, or is this a rolling thing?
Yep. No, you can spend a point. Yeah. So you spend a point, and after a while you are able to. So the problem here is that you can feel the locking mechanism with your pins. The problem is that it's quite rusted. So while you think you could open it, you would first of all you have to spend another point of lockpicking, and you would definitely break the lock. It would not be able to be closed.
Can I? Is there any way to like see what's on the other side?
No. In fact, it's rusted shut. You're not even sure that there is a lock on the other side. If
all right, I'll spend another point to just get through it. If it breaks the lock, I'm okay with it.
Okay, yeah. So you turn the lock, and you hear like a cracking noise, and the door just kind of like comes ajar.
All right, I peek my head through. So where is this actually an entrance into the hospital or just the grounds?
It's an entrance into the hospital. The grounds are very small.
So where does this bring me in the hospital?
So this seems to be some sort of shower, like a large open shower. The air inside is damp. The lights are on.
All right. I'm gonna. Is there anybody around? Can I hear people?
You hear voices. You're not sure exactly how far away they are. They're probably not in this room since it's all tile, and they would echo pretty loudly. But other than that, you're not sure. You do hear voices though from somewhere.
All right. So I'm gonna kind of close the door as best I can, if I can kind of rig it to just stay closed.
Yeah. So as you try to close it, it just kind of like comes ajar again.
All right. Well, what I'll do is I'm gonna kind of quickly rush back, signal the rest, and tell them to come with me.
Okay.
And bring them back through the gap and in through the door, telling everybody to be as quiet as possible.
Okay, yeah. So you guys, you filter into this shower room. I don't have a shower room picture, but you can tell it's pretty humid in here. There's water dripping from the showers. It's covered in this pale green tile, and the floor is wet in certain places. It's definitely been used very recently. and there's a door leading into or leading out of this room that doesn't lead to the outside. There's another door.
All right. So I'll kind of listen to it to see whether somebody's on the like right on the other side. If not, then I'll.
It doesn't seem like anybody's right on the other side.
All right. So I'll open it and peek my head through.
Okay, yeah. Give me like a stealth check, or is it sneaking?
Did we regain any points from last time or no?
Nope.
All right. Let's burn the last 2 stealth points.
Okay, great.
6.
So you kind of you peek your head through, and you see a bathroom, a bunch of stalls on one side, and a long mirror with sinks on it on the other side. And at the sink, you see there are 3 women, 2 of them chatting, and one of them just sort of powdering her face.
All right, I kind of I poke my head back through and I kind of wave for Kitty to come forward. I whisper to her, say, seems like we might have gotten into the women's bathroom here. Perhaps you can go in there without arousing quite as much suspicion as I would, and signal when the coast is clear.
Are they wearing uniforms?
They're wearing nurses' uniforms.
They're wearing nurses' uniforms. Okay.
Yeah,
They were in the
busts in there and
showers.
says, "The ball of the mouth is the truth, and the ball of the mouth is the."
It's
Yeah, you're in the
meant to be
showers.
written in blood
Like
on
one of the
mirror.
patients got loose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. I say yeah, no problem, Mr. Nicola, and I guess stride forward towards them, and I just stop at the sink next to them and start to splash some water on my face, and I said, Maya, what a day it's already turning out to be.
In English or Maltese?
Yeah, what are you speaking in?
Oh, English is what I know.
Okay, fair enough. So one of the women, sort of turns towards you and kind of says, I don't know, like yeah in Italian, and then continues powdering her face.
See.
You can tell, by the way, as you look around that there are lights in this room, but they actually no. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You don't notice anything. You're stupid.
It's completely dark, in fact.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
All right. You see the women. The 2 seem to be continuing to chatter. They're talking in English. You think the woman you're next to doesn't seem to speak English, or at least she's not speaking English to you.
is she talking with them at all, or
No, she's not.
Okay. Kitty, well, what are the 2 in English saying? What are they talking about?
Right. So they're talking about what?
There was a suggestion from the peanut gallery for a way I could.
You gotta
clear
do
the
it.
room.
You gotta do it now.
You can clear the room. Right.
Can
Do what you
I roll
gotta do.
preparedness that I ate a lot of bread?
Right. Okay. Kitty. This episode is entitled "Kitty Clears Out the Bathroom."
We have to explain ourselves.
The suggestion was that Kitty should go take a nice loud
Number 2.
Yeah,
number 2.
I think they all got it.
Did they
I
though?
think they got it. Take a nice loud respite in one of the. All right.
Anyway,
All right. So the one of the nurses is like, well, I think Dr. Salazzo has got the right idea. I don't know. I don't know what about it is this new treatment that's working, but it seems to be working. And the other one's like, it just doesn't seem right. Why can't we tell the patients about it? They have a right to know, don't they?
Kitty steps in. Not like yeah. Not like steps in like that, but she like turns and like leans around the non-English speaker and she says, pardon me, but my impression would be that whatever the doctor says should go, and that if he thinks the patient shouldn't know about it, then perhaps the patient should not be told. There's no such thing as TV.
All right, so one of the women's like kind of looks over to you and says,
Excuse you?
I'm sorry, miss. I don't think I don't think I know who you are.
She says, "Oh well, my name is Donabella Lucarelli, and I'm the assistant to one of the new administrators here in the hospital. I just started 2 days ago."
My name is Croy.
Oh,
My name
is.
Kitty says, "Hello,
Huge
my name
opportunity
is
missed
Rex
right there.
LaCroix."
All right. So you said you're assistant to who?
To one of the new administrators.
Oh,
The provost.
she says, oh, of course. You're over the new Donovan wing.
I say yes, but I've really only been here a couple of days. I didn't mean to pry. I'm so interested in the goings-on in the hospital.
She says, you'll get used to it soon enough. It's not that exciting around here.
Ask her what the treatment is.
Shit your brains out.
I come and take dumps.
Just looking
God.
for a bathroom where I could be alone.
Yeah, that's what I asked her. I'm like, isn't there a more private
It was
bathroom
going to
on
be like
this
an
floor?
invitation for you guys to make poop jokes the whole time. I made the mistake.
Oh,
here.
you really
You
made
definitely did. There's no doubt about it. Who
anyway.
fucked this
Looks
one
like
up?
it was my accident.
Oh God. Anyway,
All right, that's
Kitty,
the end of the
Kitty
poop
says,
joke.
Kitty says, yes, I'm sure it's not that exciting, but do tell what is this new treatment? I've seen some kind of paperwork about protocols, but I never really understand much of it.
Well, they call it orange juice. It doesn't really have an official name yet. It's an experimental treatment that Dr. Salazio is testing. Gives the patients a little extra pep right when they need it.
Right when they need it, I see. And which kinds of patients would they be giving this to?
Oh, it seems to work on all the patients, but there's a couple of boys up on B wing that we've been told to give special doses to.
A couple, like you mean actual children?
Yes, of course.
Why, that's that's terrible. Why are there children in the hospital? I do sure hope they're okay.
Well, they're quite sick. After his generous donation, though, we've been told to take special care of Mr. Donovan's son.
Oh, I see. He mentioned something about trouble at home, but he never dared tell us that his own son was here in the hospital. Why, that's absolutely terrible.
So, I'm sorry, I don't quite understand. You know Mr. Donovan personally?
Well, I just met him the one time when I was hired.
Oh, okay.
His first aid,
She
like,
kind of looks at you like suspiciously.
well, I look at her suspiciously.
Throw it down.
Is first aid anywhere near enough of a stretch for me to like ask her to tell me what's wrong with the son?
Isn't there a medicine skill?
Yeah, but I don't have that.
Okay. No,
But
first
I'm
aid is
asking-
stretch.
We're trying to make do here.
Jesus Christ, man!
How much first aid do you have?
I have 2 points of first aid.
You know, I want to give it to you, but I'm really feeling like that's a no.
Okay, that's fine.
Right. Harvey walks into the bathroom.
Ah!
Oh my God, a man!
Okay, somebody call for a doctor.
Then I'm gonna go all in here just a little bit, and if my I'm just curious, and if my point of bureaucracy would help me, I want to ask her I want to be like I'm gonna be like a little bit indignant, and I'm gonna say why, madam, is there some reason that you should doubt my interview with Mr. Donovan?
She says, well, though Mr. Donovan's donation was quite generous, I didn't know he was running the hospital now.
Oh, snap.
She says, but I'm sure you, I'm sure you make friends with whoever you like.
Oh shit.
Just describe to me the exact way that she said the word friends.
Like,
There was an implication.
like you're more than friends. Like maybe you got this job not based on your merits.
Well, it was based on my merits, but just not
What merits
like my
exactly?
typewriting skills or nothing. Really
She says, what exactly is it that you do here anyway?
Kitty says, well, like I said, I've only been here a couple of days. I mean, so far I've only typed a couple of memos, but when I was hired, my understanding was that I would be used to help coordinate the paperwork for some of the patients and perhaps streamline the process for admitting new patients to the hospital. It's something that I did back home, not in any such grand locale as this, but.
She says, yes, of course. Well, that sounds lovely, and I wish you the best of luck, but I have to be getting back to my patients now.
I say, yes, of course I understand the top priority in this hospital, and I do so admire all the work you do.
Yes, of course.
Does her companion, saying anything?
No, she's actually really quiet. Really quiet.
Okay. And the non-English speaker?
Oh, she's left already.
She's left already. Okay. I say, well, Miss Nurse, I hope to see you again, and please keep up all the good work.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you guys doing in the shower over there?
Waiting patiently for Kitty to come back and give us the all clear.
I'm trying to get these people out of here.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, are you doing anything else, or are you just standing there?
He's listening
this
closely.
is a private question, GM.
Fritz is gonna poke around.
Okay. Okay, what are you doing specifically?
He's looking for anything that would be out of the ordinary for a hospital.
Okay. Do you have any specific skills?
Let's check that.
Anybody else doing anything while Fritz is looking?
I'm looking through the keyhole of the door, waiting anxiously for these two ladies to leave.
Been in here for 10 minutes.
Yeah, Kitty's just talking to them. She seems to be having a grand old time.
It's oh my god.
They leave, and she starts powdering her nose and doesn't give you the all clear signal. But it's because somebody's in one of the stalls taking a gigantic shit.
I have streetwise. I have occult.
I have pharmacy. Would that help?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, occult will work. You see, as the steam is sort of in this room. As you sort of are standing around, you notice that the steam is it sort of builds on the tiles, right? Of course, because it's steam, so it kind of fogs them up. But as you walk around waiting for Kitty to get done, you notice as the light glints across these tiles that there is a sort of a shape is not covered in steam. If you know what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like if somebody had when you put your finger on the bathroom mirror and trace out a shape or something like that.
And what does the shape? What does the shape look like?
It's really difficult to make out because once you sort of look straight on, the glint is gone.
Okay. Can I kind of try to catch it from the side of my eye and just wander around, not looking at it very closely?
Sure. Does anybody have like evidence collection maybe or?
Somebody has it.
Only Damon.
All right. You can't really make it out by yourself, Harvey. Or
okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. Well, has anybody else done anything?
I'm just like waiting patiently.
It's not like mouth shaped, by the way, right?
No, but it's definitely a shape.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not like clearly a mouth.
No, it's not clearly a mouth. Okay, so eventually, Kitty, you are able to get the other women to leave the bathroom, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just double check that there's nobody else in there that I didn't notice, and then I'll go down to the door and give the all clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Kitty comes back through the door and says it's...
All right. Do I kind of have an idea of where we are in the hospital?
No, you have no idea.
All right.
You kind of know like maybe where the general direction of the door is, but so as you enter the room, you notice that the electrical work in this building is definitely subsequent to it being built and probably fairly recent. There's no like the lights don't like come out of the ceiling. There's like runners along the walls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely been retrofitted. And in fact, part of this bathroom seems to be given over to storage space. It's quite cramped, and the light is not particularly good.
All right. Well, I'll peek my head out the bathroom door and see if I can get my bearings. Figure out which way we need to be going.
Right. So, so you kind of open the door into a very narrow hallway. It seems to be. It seems like maybe this room was previously part of a larger room, or this hallway was previously part of a larger room, which has been cinder blocked off to make a hallway. So as you look out, it's quite cramped. It's only about 4 feet wide, and there are boxes stacked on one side of it, as well as the exterior electrical running along the walls.
Is there another bathroom nearby, like a men's room?
Yeah, the next door down looks like a men's room.
Okay, Harvey would start walking towards the men's room.
Okay,
So
sure. Yeah.
do I know which way we need to be going to get to this staircase?
No, like I said, the entire building seems to have been retrofitted in sort of a strange way. So it's hard to tell exactly which way is which. It's not like if you walked into a hospital, right? There would be like, a center hallway, and then if there was a wing, there would be like a hallway that runs down that wing. This doesn't seem to be constructed in that way because it was an existing structure, and now it has been retrofitted to something else, along with several rooms having been like broken apart into hallways and separate rooms. The whole thing looks to be something of a warren.
Okay.
It's like buildings on modern universities where like they were made fucking 100 years ago to be simple buildings, and then they get built onto 17 different times, and you can never tell where anything is, and rooms don't connect and shit like that.
Yep, exactly right. Like things that would make sense. Like there's just a wall there because they weren't going to knock that wall down when they built the next part.
Use your archaeology again.
Bro.
So, so you think you may have the general direction of the entrance, but beyond that, and you're sure you're going to get turned around pretty quick if you start walking down hallways. But beyond that, you are pretty clueless as to which way it is.
Well, I mean, let's go the way that I think it might be.
The entrance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Assuming that's what everybody still wants to do.
Yeah. Well, I assume you all want to like step out of the ladies' room, except for maybe Kitty.
This is a little bit stall.
I tend to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Always wanted to live here.
It's also like very hard to like hold like a group conversation in the middle of this hallway because, like I said, it's like 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Go
I'll
follow.
just signal for everybody to follow me, and then I will go the direction that I think it is, regardless of how unsure I might be. Just keep moving.
Okay. So as you walk, you pass a couple of nurses. They kind of like look at you suspiciously. Why don't you give me like a disguise roll,
Sure.
or if you have anything else that you think might be.
I have disguise, so.
Yeah, I think that would.
All right.
Is it everybody or just Nicola since he's looking around?
By the way, what time is it?
We're about 5 minutes
Almost
out.
time to wrap up.
Oh, I didn't mean in real life.
So. Probably, I don't know, 9:30 or 10 a.m.
Right.
Wait, are we all rolling something?
No, this was my disguise roll, so I got an 8. Yeah, no, I'll if it makes a difference, maybe I'll I don't know, mutter something about just like keep moving or something like that, like
Something friendly.
yeah, I don't know. I guess Nicola is like is like the kind of guy who doesn't have a hard time like making it look like he belongs somewhere just by like his confidence. So he can kind of like act natural. So yeah, he'll just kind of like say a quick, a friendly hello to the nurses, flash them a smile and a wink, and then keep moving.
Okay, so you're sort of walking around. You see a doctor kind of like walking past you, and of course you guys have to like you can't both just like walk comfortably down the hallway. So you have to like let him pass as he's walking, and he kind of like looks at you strangely as he's walking past, but he keeps going. But then a moment later you hear a stop right there.
Directed at me.
Mhm.
All right, I guess I will look over to see who it is that's calling.
So it's the doctor, and he's looking at you. Says, "I know that look."
And what look might that be, Doctor?
He says, "You don't know where you're going. Is there something I can help you find?"
Say, I have to admit, I feel like I should know the place by now, but it's so easy to get turned around in these hallways.
Catacombs.
I'm trying to get to the what were you saying? Like it was like the patient's wing or something like that. With the extra sick patients. I don't know, whatever it was called the last time I was here. I'll tell them.
Yeah, I don't think you probably remember exactly what the name of the wing was.
Intensive ward, something like that.
Yeah, I'll just
Makes sense.
try to describe
Babble,
it.
some kind of-
I guess I have no, I have like I don't know, streetwise maybe to I don't know, come up.
Cough?
That was loud.
That's
Sorry, go ahead.
crazy.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's where the really sick patients are.
Yeah.
To I don't know, I tell them that I'm like I'm trying to take some people to see a sick family member, but I feel like I've gotten turned around, and they're like the intensive care ward.
He says, "Have you? I guess you haven't been here in a few months. The intensive ward was moved over to the Donovan wing a few weeks ago. Maybe you want to check there."
Say really maybe, but so what are they using the old intensive ward wing as now?
He says, "Oh, they're renovating that."
Say just for my own bearings, which direction is that? And which direction is the new Donovan wing?
That's on the other side of the hospital. I'm afraid it wouldn't help you very much.
Say so which direction is the new Donovan wing?
He points down the hallway. He says, "It's just down there. I'm afraid you're gonna have to take a right and then a left after that."
Say well, thank you very much, Doctor. I appreciate your help.
He nods.
So
He says, "I hope your friend gets better."
Me too. I'll kind of rush off. We'll go down that direction, the direction he pointed. But I'm gonna keep an eye out for any signs of like construction or like people who might be involved in that effort and follow them.
Okay, yeah. You don't see any construction workers. You see mostly nurses. After a while, you do see what looks like more recent construction.
All right, so I'll go to like if there's like a nurse's station or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go and if I can get a nurse's attention, I say, "Excuse me, nurse. I seem to have gotten a little turned around. I'm supposed to meet the foreman for the renovation project, but I can't seem to find the old wing that they're working on. Could you point me in the right direction?"
She says, I didn't think construction was supposed to start for another month.
No, they're doing some surveying down there. But if you could just point me in the right direction.
Sure. I'm afraid I don't exactly remember the way myself. You'll have to go back the way you came. But at a certain point, you'll need to make a turn towards the inside of the hospital.
Say, okay. Thanks a lot for your help. I'm sure I'll find it.
Okay. So as you turn around, you see the door behind you opens, and several men in in suits come through. There are 7 men in total. One of them is more casually dressed, and he seems to be sort of stand at the center of the group. And they sort of a few of them follow in front of him, and a few of them follow behind him. And as they sort of walk past you, this room is not very big. There's a hallway that leads to what look like patient rooms. The woman sort of nods her head at the man as he walks past. He's got kind of like a not a straw hat, but like a fucking, what am I trying to describe here? Like the hat a Colombian drug lord would wear.
Okay.
Are any of the faces familiar?
Are any of the faces familiar? I don't know. What are you trying to compare it to?
Well, I guess in case it might match somebody I might have seen in the newspaper lately, Mr. Donovan in particular.
It looks exactly like Mr. Donovan.
It's his twin brother.
All right, I guess like after shooting or just like glancing at the group, I guess I'll try to signal to the rest of the group to make sure that they notice.
Okay. So Mr. Donovan and his group sort of like stride past you. The nurses seem to not. They seem to know who he is and that he belongs there. And he kind of walks past with this group and then down the hallway into one of the rooms.
Let's follow those guys.
Yeah, and so we will leave it there for tonight.
Very good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good spot.
Fair enough.
I don't know if it qualifies as a cliffhanger, but something akin to it, cousin of the cliffhanger, perhaps. Thank you guys for watching. If you've been watching this on twitch.tv, then you should come check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/livefrombeyond. If you're watching us on YouTube, come check out our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/livefrombeyond. Thank you guys for playing. I had a fun time tonight, and we will pick it up there next week.
Yep.
All right.
Indeed.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, y'all.